Okay, standard 3. Okay, solving, these are ratios and proportions. So we got 9 over 2 equals x over 25. So we know that 9 times 25 equals 2 times x. So let's figure out what 9 times 25 is. Okay, 225, that's that product, and since that's equal to 2 times x, we can just divide that product by 2, and that finds what x equals. Okay. So 225 divided by 2, so 112.5. Okay, it's not going to be quite so easy in the next one. We know that 3 times x minus 4 is equal to 2 times 3x plus 4. There's no, just look at that. There's no way you're going to cross multiply and divide and get your answer. So I know that a times b, okay, circle that, is equal to c times d. Okay, so I line up my equals, put 2 parentheses on each side, and each of those represents the expression. So a times b is equal to c times d. So a is 3, and b is going to be x minus 4. 1x plus negative 4. Then c is 2, and that equals 2 times 3x plus 4. Okay, so we have our plus to begin with. So I take 3 times 1x and 3 times negative 4. So that's 3x, and that equals negative 12. Okay, so on this side of the equation we have 3x plus negative 12, and on the other side I need to distribute the 2 to the 3x and the 2 to the 4. So 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 4 is 8. Then I line up my plus, and I've got 6x plus 8. And then that's all you have, okay? Now, you got x's on opposite sides of the equation, so we'll take our smaller one out. There'd still be a negative 12 over there, so minus 3x from 6x. So we have negative 12, and then we have 3x plus 8. So we have x on this side now. The operations are times 3 and plus 8. So highlight the times, you get rid of your 8. So negative 20 minus 8 is negative 20. Negative 12 minus 8 is negative 20, and then you got 3 times x. Then you divide each side by the 3. Okay, so you have x behind the equals, so negative 20 divided by 3, and then just go second, PRB equals negative 6 2/3. Okay, next one. What is 63% of 150? So this is a percent sentence. So it's percent over 100%, and then over here it's is over of. So the percent I have is 63, and then after of, the of is 150, and we don't have the is value, but we know that 63 times 150 is equal to x times 100. So we find out what 63 times 150 is, and then we take that product and divide it by 100. It's 94.5. Okay, 150% of what number is 34? 100% over that, then it's is over of. So 150 is my percent, and after of I see what number. So of, we don't have the of value, so that's x and then 34. Okay, so I know that 150 times x is equal to 100 times 34, so I find the product of 100 times 34 and then divide by 150. And then I go second, PRB equals 22 2/3. Okay, and then the last one here, what percent of 32 is 40? So 100%, and then percent, and it's is over of. Now I don't have the percent, so that's my x, and after of I have 32, and then is I have 40. So x times 32 is equal to 100 times 40, so I find the 100 times 40 product, and then divide that product by 32, which is 125. 125%, because when your x is the percent value, you need to label it percent. Okay, similar triangles. Solve for x. The triangles are similar. So, there's two ways you can do it. Okay, you can put 7.5 over 18 or 18 over 7.5. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and the 7.5 lines up with the 5, and the 18 lines up with the x. You could also go 18 over 7.5, and then it would be x over 5, but it doesn't really matter. Okay. So 7.5 times x is equal to 18 times 5, so I find the 18 times 5 product, and then just divide that by 7.5, and I get 12. So x equals 12. Okay, convert 45 pounds to ounces. There's 16 ounces to 1 pound, so I line up my ratios here, and I put 16 ounces, 1 pound. And then I put the same two words in the same order over on the second ratio. So it's 45 pounds, so 45 goes with pounds and x goes with ounces. So 16 times 45 is equal to 1 times x. And then divide by 1, 720. So x equals 720 ounces. Okay, number 9. In the first 4 games of the season, a soccer team scored 10 goals. If this trend continues, how many goals will the team score in the remaining 18 games of the season? So you got games and goals. That one's kind of hard to know what x and y are. So games is x, goals is y, because there's goals scored within a game. Okay. So then it'd be goals per game. And the goals per game we don't know, so I put a question mark. Okay. X, Y. And some of you are like, y minus y, x minus x. No. Okay. Games is x. We are not going to be using that, and the table will tell us why. So 0 block, and we have 4 games with 10 goals. And I need to find 18 games, how many goals that would be, so question mark. Now, we would not put B here because common sense tells you if you don't play any games, you don't score any goals. So we do not make the line, okay? The 0 with 0 at the start, if the y begins at 0 with the x, that means you line up a proportion, okay? Now, it's y over x, okay? So games is x, so we put games in the bottom. Then goals is y. Goals on the top. Okay, so 4 games is with 10 goals. So 4 with 10. And then 18 games, and I don't know how many goals I have. You can put G or you can put X. It doesn't really matter what letter you use. But 10 times 18 is equal to 4 times the variable. So 10 times 18 is 180, then just divide that by 4, you get 45. So X, or G, I guess, whatever letter you're using equals 45. I don't care what letter it is you use. If you want to use X, use it, okay? So 45 goals. Okay, number 10, I can paint 3 statues in 20 minutes. My friend can paint 1 statue in 10 minutes. How long will it take us to paint 12 statues working together? So you got minutes, statues, and minutes. I didn't tell you what X and Y are because you should know it on this one. Because you have a time unit, that's X, statues is Y. So per statues per minute. Okay, we do not have the stats used per minute rate. Okay, now there are two tables to this one because you have me and my friend. So XY, XY. So stats uses Y. Stats use in minutes is X. So I do not have that, so 0 block, 0 block. 3 stats use 20 minutes, so 3, 20. And then my friend, 1 statue in 10 minutes, so 1 and 10. Now the 12 statues does not go on either table. You put 12 statues, because that's together, and then question mark minutes. Now using common sense, if you painted for 0 minutes, you wouldn't get any statues painted, and likewise there. So when these start at 0, we don't make lines, okay? We make ratios. Okay, but I'm going to need to add another ratio to this equation here because there's 2 tables. Okay, remember the Y goes on top. Okay, so statues is Y, so statues goes on top. You can put it on the ratio or with the Y, it doesn't matter. And then X is minutes, so all these X's are minutes values. Okay, and then you just put in 3 statues, 20 minutes. It's got to be 3 over 20. And the second table can do 1 statue in 10 minutes. And then together they do 12 statues. And then I just use a variable. You can put X, okay? That's fine. Or you can put M for minutes. I don't really care what letters used. It doesn't matter, okay? So I put equals. I carry down the 12 over X. Now these need to be added. Okay, you just add the fractions on your calculator to see what that would combine to make. So 3/20ths, it gets the common denominator and reduces it in the simplest form for you, 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 equals 12 over X, so 4 times 12 divided by 1. We got 48. So 48 minutes. Okay, 4/7 of all animals in the park were birds. If there are 200 birds, how many animals were there? So you need to line up 4 over 7. Remember what these represent. The bottom number is the total. The top I have circled, that was what were birds. So it's the same thing over here, birds over total. Now how many birds do we have? We have 200, so we are finding the total number of animals. So 4 times X equals 7 times 200, so we find the 7 times 200 product. And we divide that by 4, we get 350. So it says how many animals were there, so there's 350 animals. 200 are birds, which accounts for 4/7 of the ratio. Because 200 over 350 reduces to 4/7 in the end. Okay, number 12, a racer has completed 5% of his race. If he has completed 10 laps, how many laps does a race have? When the percent has of after it, we put 5% over 100%. Okay, it's going to be a cross multiply and divide when it says of after it. Okay, and 100's a total, kind of like the 7 was here, and then the 5% is completed. And then completed total. How many laps did we complete? Well, we completed 10. Now, if we don't know how many we complete, then the variable goes there, but then we know how many we completed. We're trying to find the total, okay? So 5 times X is equal to 100 times 10. So I find the product of 100 times 10. And then divide that by 5, it's 200. 200 laps total. Okay, number 13. A watch that used to cost $89.99 is marked up in price by 12%. Find the new price of the watch. Okay. New means after, by the way. Okay. Now, the percent does not say of behind it, so do not put it over 100. Okay, you're going to do something with 100%, but not put it under the 12%. There's a little equation. It's percent multiplied by the before amount equals the after amount. So the percent's 12%, but we don't just put 12. We need to take 100%, and marked up means you'd add 12%. Marked down would be minus 12%, so it'd be 112%, and then you move the decimal twice to the left. Okay, put it at the end, move it twice. So 1.12 is your percentage factor. Now I have to find the new price. That's the after amount, and the before amount is given to me. It's $89.99. So we have 1.12 times $89.99 equals X, and then X is by itself, so I just do the operation on the other side. So 1.12 times $89.99, $100.79, round it to 2 decimal places. Okay, there's my answer. Okay, then the last problem. 2 cars travel for the same amount of time. The first car travels 80 miles per hour, the second car travels 75 miles per hour. If our faster car travels 40 miles further, find the distance traveled by each car. Remember these problems, this is distance, speed, and time. You make a table to solve this. You're not going to be drawing lines or any of that. Okay? Okay, so you got your fast and your slow, and then you want to put the speed first, then the distance, and then the time. So the speeds are your miles per hour. Okay, so I have 80 miles per hour and 75 miles per hour. So 80 is the fast, 75 is the slow. Don't put dot X, just 80 and 75. Now cross those out because they've already been placed in the table, 75 and 80. Okay, now my distance, that's just the miles. Well, what they tell me about the miles is that the fast one went 40 miles further. Okay, that doesn't, it means 40, but it means plus 40 with the fast car. It's got to be the fast. And we don't know this, so we have to use it. What plus 40? I don't know. X. And then this is just X by itself. Now the times, all we know about the times is that they're equal because they went for the same amount of time. And that time can be expressed as distance divided by speed, but we don't actually get to divide. Distance, speed, distance, speed. The distance here is the expression X plus 40, and the speed is 80. The distance is X, the speed is 75. And then set those equal to one another because they're equal. And then I apply the A, B, C, D. Okay, I can't just cross multiply and divide. It ain't going to be that easy. Okay, so A times B. Remember, they're diagonal, not up and down. Okay, so A is X plus 40. You can put a 1 if you'd like. And then B is 75. C is X. You can put a 1 in front if you want. And D is 80. Now over here there's a plus, so we have to distribute the 75. So 75 is multiplied by 2 things, the 1x and the 40. So 75x, 75 times 40 gives me 3,000. So that side is equivalent to 75x plus 3,000. The other side, there's no plus, so I just take 80 times 1x. You put x down, and then 80 times 1 is 80. You need to put the x on the 80. Okay, then you have x's on opposite sides, so you take the smaller one out to 0, minus it. So it's 5x, and then 3,000. and you divide each side of the equation by 5. 3,000 divided by 5 is 600. Okay. Now you go into your table and cross out those x's and put 600. So the fast is 600 plus 40, that's 640. And then the slow is just 600. Because the fast went 40 miles further than the slow.